Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's most watched professional wrestling news program. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on Time Warner Cable and at pwrshow.com. Frank Cosentino, not with us this week. He's traveling. However, he's getting ready for Bound for Glory. He's finishing up all of the
setting up the VFG.
Of getting us all set up for Bound for Glory coming up this Sunday on pay-per-view. But It's such an amazing week. We've got Christy Hemme right here on the Pro Wrestling Report. We had the opportunity to do an interview with her down
I haven't had the opportunity
yet. A while ago, and another special guest that you can find only at pwrshow.com. Again, that's another special guest you can find at pwrshow.com. Just as past Monday, Meathead, we had TNA superstar and founder Jeff Jarrett right here in the ESPN studios on 540 ESPN on the radio. A separate interview from the one you're able to see at pwrshow.com, the video interview that we did with Jeff. Jeff had a lot to say about that big angle going on between him and
no pun
Angle.
Intended, of course.
Right now in TNA. But let's get to some news items coming out of the world of professional wrestling this past week. And the first few come from WWE. Joey Mercury, a man who we have had the opportunity of calling a match for, has been saying all over the world, all over the United States, in the independent ranks, that he is going to be back, rather, in WWE by the end of the year. Now, some are saying there's really nothing to it except for the fact that he wants to get noticed again by WWE and back in as part of M&M, maybe, or just in a ladder match.
I don't know if I don't know if M&M is anything they want to do anymore. John Morrison has a place with The Miz right now, and that's where it needs to be.
Will it work for leverage?
No, it won't. Ladders do, but this talking about WWE won't.
WWE referee Marty Elias, you may have seen that he hasn't been around recently on WWE TV. Well, he's actually just had surgery on a herniated disc and will be out for, I believe, about 6 weeks.
Or about a minute.
Ruptured hernia, actually it was. It's going to be out for about 6 weeks. You see some other referees filling in for him on WWE. Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yep.
You know, the man who is pure evil, in my opinion.
I looked at his eyes.
Recently wrote a book. It's an autobiography. It's got its United States debut coming up. And you watching us in the Chicago area are going to be able to see Bret Hart at Borders Books in Schaumburg, Illinois, 7 p.m. on October 15th. Come on down, check out that book signing by Bret the Hitman Hart. A legend nonetheless, whether you like him or not, in the professional
or if you blast
business,
him.
And a WWE Hall of Famer. I give my personal opinion of what I think of Bret Hart. He is pure evil, in my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion, right? You're entitled to yours. I'm entitled to mine. Frank's entitled to his. Christy Hemme's going to be entitled to hers. Kurt Angle's entitled to his. Jeff Jarrett's. I don't have those entitled to his. Just chill. Chillio. Relax.
We need to put up a little blank right there.
Speaking of Bret DiBiase, the brother of Ted DiBiase Jr. has recently reported to Florida Championship Wrestling, the farm camp for WWE, and is said to be doing very well, very fast in that organization, and could be called up very soon.
Why? Because they want to do a Generation Next gimmick?
Could be. Who knows?
Who knows?
Speaking of next, we've got some more news for you, but I don't think we should wait anymore, because right now we're going to go to this exclusive PWR interview with the TNA Knockout Christy Hemme of the Rock and Rave Infection. Let's go now to the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida, and Christy Hemme. Dameon Nelson here again in Orlando, Florida of the Pro Wrestling Report with Christy Hemme, one of the TNA Knockouts here at the Impact Zone. Christy, thank you so much for your time here with us on the Pro Wrestling Report all over the world. And let's talk a little bit about how you got into the professional wrestling business and how you got your start.
Sure. I got in probably, it's been almost 5 years now. It's been, I can't believe it, doesn't it? See, I mean, time flies when you're having fun, but I went in by way of the Diva Search with WWE. Won their little contest and ended up making my way over here at TNA almost 3 years ago, and it's been a ride ever since. It's just been amazing and looking forward to the future for sure.
TNA Knockouts division. We have said many a times on this program that there is not a better female wrestling division in the wrestling business right now. It's not what WWE does with divas and whatever else they call them. This is real ladies wrestling. And it's a treat and a pleasure to see it. How does it feel to be a part of what is really the only real national ladies wrestling organization out there?
It's amazing to me because when I first got here, I mean, there was only a few girls. There was Tracy, Gail, Kim, SoCal, Val, and like there's literally a handful of us. And at that time, everybody was, the girls were just like, women's division, pushing for it, every day and working for it and wanted it so bad. And so when it finally came and when they finally put it together and they went to the girls and they talked to a lot of the wrestlers and said, who would you want to see come in and into this business? Outside of like going to modeling agencies and stuff and trying to train these girls, like who has been on the indie scene and working really hard and would make this division unique, interesting, and aggressive. And they really like spent so much time like trying to collect the right set of girls together and adding new people at the same time. And so, it was such a special moment, like when Gail Kim first won the belt. It was like we were backstage crying and just so happy because it took so long to get to that point. And then now to be a part of it, it's amazing for me because I'm a lot greener than a lot of the girls that are here, even though they're newer to TV. I get to sit back and learn and, take as much from them as I possibly can and continue to grow as a wrestler myself. So to be a part of this division, I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Speaking of growing, who influenced you when you were growing up in female wrestling? Who was that person you looked at maybe at home on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and said, that's who I want to be? Before
coming into like WWE, I was a big Trish and Lita. Like I just really liked them. They, in fact, when I was going through the Diva search, I had like this little Trish doll, and I was like, this is my good luck charm. And when I went through the search, and I still have it, so
it's okay.
Yeah. So it's really cool to be able to work with a lot of the, just to be able to be on the level of working with people that are that amazing.
Yeah.
And TNA has such a collection of amazingly talented people. I'm just very proud.
And you're on both sides of it, if you will. You're also working, obviously, with the Rock and Rave infection. And there may not be a better entrance right now than the entrance that you all perform when you come out. But really getting all of that TNA has to offer. Bound for Glory coming up next month on pay-per-view from just outside of our hometown, Chicago, Illinois. It's going to be a big event, obviously. It's TNA's big event of the year. But where do you see Christy Hemme, call it 1, maybe 3 years from now? What's your goal? What do you want to do in the next few years of your wrestling career?
My goal, like right now, I'm really learning a lot by working with the boys. It really helps to get that point of view and to be able to watch what they're doing and help, and to be able to be a part of the foundation of just matches in general and psychology and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I'm taking it one step at a time and trying to soak in as much as I can. And what I see myself doing is definitely going for the belt in the future. So I definitely want to wrestle more. That's my goal.
Excellent. Well, we'd love to see it. And
hit the FFG a few more times.
And as I said, there is nothing better than the Knockouts division. I'm not just marking out for it or kissing tail, but it really is great. And one of the best parts is when you watch the Knockouts matches from a fan's perspective, which is what I do, you lose sight of the fact that it's ladies wrestling. And a lot of times, and what the problem has been in wrestling for a long time is it's always presented as pretty girls wrestling.
Right.
And you have that, obviously, in TNA, clearly. But you also have the talent, and you talked about that earlier. And that's the part that really makes it different. It's many times halfway through the match, it's like, wow, this is a ladies match. And that's cool because you don't have to think about that. It's not thrown in your face, and it's not the big point of the division. So Knockouts Championship certainly down the road in your future, I would say. And what do you have in parting for our fans all over the world and in Milwaukee on television?
Well, I hope that everybody gets to see Bound for Glory. We are so excited to give it to you.
They got to come down. It's close.
Yeah, come on down. Come on down to the arena. We get to say hello to everybody and give my kisses to everybody that comes. But to everyone around the world, we're going to make our way to a city near you and just keep enjoying TNA because we enjoy you.
Thank you so much, Christy Hemme.
Thank
one
you.
of the TNA Knockouts here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report on PWRshow.com. Pro Wrestling Report Television and Radio, Christy Hemme.
I love my redheads. I really do.
This is when you're supposed to tell me how good I did with the interview. And really
I wasn't even looking at you, man. I was looking at my girl.
Special thanks to TNA.
I told her I'd let her get me
pregnant.
pregnant.
Her to be a part of this program, the Pro Wrestling Report. Our first knockout, actually. Well, if you count ODB.
ODB isn't knocked up.
Make sure you check out the interview section of PWRshow.com.
Haven't we talked to Tracy?
Check out the interview section of PWRshow.com to see Frank Cosentino's interview with ODB, Jess Dalton, from a couple of years ago. It's one you certainly don't want to miss. I think he actually was one of the first to ask her what ODB meant. And get an answer on that. But indeed, more big stars coming to you.
One dirty baseball player.
Next Friday, we've got Brother Devon of Team 3D right here on PWR TV. And we're having so many stars, Meathead. I'm winded thinking about it.
Star-studded September has kind of bled over into October.
Indeed it did, and these are interviews you can only see at the Pro Wrestling Report. Again, that's PWRshow.com, which features all that there is to see in the world of professional wrestling. Kevin Nash, Meathead. Some people are saying there's a lot of confusion in this situation as far as his contract goes. Kevin Nash, who loves to play with his hair, of course, has either signed or not re-signed with TNA. He is telling people he is waiting for a couple of more things to be worked into his contract before he signs it. However, there are those who are saying that he has indeed received a contract, signed it, and faxed it back to TNA, thus meaning he has re-signed. Kevin Nash has been outspoken, just as Kurt Angle has, against TNA, and I don't think he's been as abusive, I guess you could use the word, as Kurt Angle was.
I think it's constructive criticism with Kevin Nash. We'll go to the comments that he made about, people coming up to him and say, hey, it's Kevin Nash, man, I haven't seen you since, whenever. Are you still wrestling anymore? I was just on TV last night. Kevin Nash is more constructive than it is abusive.
Kevin Nash, certainly an asset to TNA Wrestling. Not quite sure if there's more of an opportunity to use him, more so than they're using now, but certainly a big name.
They're not using him right now. Where is he?
Well, they took him off TV, obviously, because of this contract negotiation. Don't want to go ahead and push a person, because he said,
because that's happened before.
But he said, Kevin Nash, that he was in talks with WWE as well. He has, in recent interviews,
he's supposed to have a program with Joe.
Those talks. Now, it's much like Hogan did a long time ago. Many other stars have done. You always want to leverage yourself for higher money, for a better deal. So, of course, you're going to say you're talking to the other guys.
Correct.
Mick Foley came out on him.
Joey Mercury in the show we talked about.
Yeah, and said that, he turned down WWE.
Chris Jericho
offer with WWE. And Sheik Abdul-Bashir, Sean Daivari on this very program, said he could have made a ton more money with WWE, chose to go to TNA instead. So
again, Jericho was in conversations with TNA before he made his return to WWE.
Speaking of conversations, Kurt Angle's comments to the UK Sun, which were a prominent part of Impact last week, were not planned as a part of an angle.
According to Dameon.
As part of an angle. This is something that did anger a lot of people in TNA. However, it's now being made into an angle, and you've heard, according to me, yes, but Jeff Jarrett also had a lot to say about it on this week's radio show, which you can find at iTunes just by searching PWR Live or download from this website. Jeff Jarrett saying that it was not something that was planned. And off air, Meathead, off air, we talked more candidly about the subject, and indeed, it is something that really did ruffle a lot of feathers in TNA wrestling. Kurt Angle had a lot to say. Those comments not planned.
So you're just like Jeff, apparently, because stuff that we talk about off air is supposed to stay off air.
Oh, there's no such thing. The film is always rolling. It's like a great politician, because there's at least one in a national race right now. It's like a great politician.
It's like a great politician right here.
Mike is always on.
Yeah.
Mike
like Leslie Nielsen when he was on Naked Gun and went to the bathroom.
2.5, 33 1/3 of the original.
The original.
Did they convict OJ for the murder or for the robbery?
The robbery. He got set up though. Trying to frame him, brother.
Sting. I hear he signed a new deal with Warner Brothers. Sting has tentatively agreed to stay with TNA Wrestling through the end of 2009. Now, here's where this gets interesting. Some are saying that TNA would love to do an angle between Sting and Ric Flair. Remember, the last match on Nitro was Sting versus Flair.
And Flair with his shirt on.
Some are saying that, obviously, over the course of the next year, Ric Flair's no-compete clause will expire and give him the opportunity to do whatever he so chooses. I still don't see Flair in TNA because I don't see what he has to do, what he has to gain by being there. But certainly would be a big deal for TNA if they were to have Sting go out and Flair go out. Just one match. One match.
Bigger
for glory next year. Why not? One match.
Bigger,
Sting, Flair.
Can I talk? Bigger deal would be to get Hogan in and actually keep him in and to keep him in. No,
because you don't want him wrestling actively for a long period of time.
We know that we don't want to see Hogan wrestle, but he has proven over and over Hogan is buy rates. Hogan is ratings.
talk about 3 big matches coming up Sunday at Bound for Glory. First off, it's the X Division Championship. Sheik Abdul-Bashir going up against Consequences.
Don't call me Apollo.
2 people who have recently appeared on this program. Meathead, your thoughts on that match for the X Division Championship?
Consequences goes over, I believe. Even though I would like to see Sheik Abdul-Bashir hang on to the strap on him.
It's a big grudge match. Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett. Special guest enforcer is Mick Foley. Your thoughts, Meathead, on that big matchup?
We're going to get everything we expect out of this match. It's going to be very hot. Foley's going to get involved. He's going to get physical, and I don't have a winner.
Let's get physical, physical. Remember that?
Olivia Newton-John. Donkey.
I am a Democrat, thank you. Actually, no, I'm an independent, like Lou Dobbs.
Okay, Democrat.
The main event, it is Sting going up against Samoa Joe for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Sting saying Samoa Joe has no respect for him. Samoa Joe saying Sting does not give enough to be in that match. This one is for all the marbles, Meathead, the World Heavyweight Championship. Who will walk out of Chicago Sears Center the champion?
Your winner of the match and still champion, Samoa Joe.
Bound for Glory this Sunday night, SearsCenter.com or 1-888-SEARS tickets. To get your tickets for that, we're going to be covering them like no other right here at PWRshow.com, so make sure you hop on over on the website and check out all the video updates from Hoffman Estates, Illinois at the Sears Center for Bound for Glory this Sunday. But don't forget, Brother Devon next week right here in this program. We've also got another special interview feature available only at PWRshow.com right now. Make sure you check it out with another huge TNA superstar. You can only get it from the Pro Wrestling Report. And for the man they call Meathead and the Cause, Frank Cosentino, who's around here somewhere, this is Dameon Nelson signing off for this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. We will see you again next week, but before that, Bound for Glory, coverage at PWRshow.com all weekend long. Thanks for tuning in.